face off to a bunch of men that don't care, they will walk away from you. Once you put a microphone in front of your face to make yourself louder. That was funnier than what I had to talk about. That's kind of a shame.
He's here.
Yeah, but he's married to me. He's heard all this shit before, and he never left when I tell it to him in person. And I think you just feel bad for me.
No, it's not. I think that Doug didn't pay. I think it's money out of Doug. And all those people aren't paying, so they're useless.
I love it.
You're the person that paid.
So I'm the rich bitch in here, and you're the creditor.
Where's Jerry Sugarman?
No wonder why nobody wants to be out here right now. Now I lost the creditor.
We'll have one more person when Jerry comes out.
This has got to be the most depressing set that I've ever done. Alright, then I'll tell the story about my second most depressing set that I ever did, and I thought it was really fucking funny. And since I don't have an audience to laugh at me, I'll give the exact same results as the first time, except there's no crickets out here. Alrighty then, you two lucky ducks. The first set I ever did, I was hanging out with my buddy Liz. That actually happens to be his ex-girlfriend, and that's exactly why, since he and I are married, she is my ex-friend. I laugh at my own jokes, just to encourage myself. So, yeah. So, I go to this open mic, and there's a big douchebag.
Out here?
I didn't get interrupted during the already pathetic set.
Go around that circuit. Where were those people?
That's just my own comedy. Everybody calls me crazy anyway. That's fine. Now, if I was still mentally ill, and I'm thoroughly convinced I cured myself of mental illness, I'd probably be crying right now. But right now, I find this fucking hilarious. Just like how I thought it was hilarious the first time I ever bombed. But I actually had a huge crowd for that one. And I was mentally ill at the time, so it was a lot more depressing. So anyways, there's this huge douchebag that is doing the hosting. And I signed up number 6. And I was the one that showed up first. But they were all, as soon, like he just came in with a little entourage of losers. And they all looked really pathetic. And they were all really skinny. Some, like there were 2 that were really, really, really obese with acne. But they were the cool crowd. And I pretty much looked like me. I wore like a tight outfit, so I was like, I should try and look slutty if I'm going to a bar. I don't think they're going to take my usual wardrobe with nasty sweatshirt and pajama pants with black fuzzy slippers and burn holes in them. So I decided to try and look somewhat sexy. But I was size 12 at the time. However, for the cool nerd crowd, I was doing the job just right. And I had my buddy Liz by my side. Now the problem was I did the set for her in the car, so she'd already heard the entire thing. And this is why the bitch cunt didn't laugh. So she claims. But instead of going up number 6, I ended up going number 12 at 1 o'clock in the morning when I showed up there at 4:45. And I had to work the next morning at 7 a.m. So I was not really pleased with this motherfucker. Because as the day went on, he just kept putting up other losers that had shown up late. Even though I went there early. And, as my husband will confirm, I don't show up early for anything. Ever. Ever. Not even if it's a job that's going to bring me in money. Because I'm usually the best person at the job and they won't fire me. That would be a bad business move. Especially when you got a bunch of people that sit around and talk to each other and a douchebag. Which are usually the places where I'm employed. At any rate. So I went up there and I had a different name. And the dude, being a douchebag, made fun of the fake name that I was using. So I was already pissed off at him. But this time it was more so. And again, dude's motherfucking douchebag. And I do a set about, let's see if I can remember it, I've been smoking a lot of weed already. The set was about, my use of adult friend finder and the kind of freaks that I was meeting while I was using that site. And I met this freak. Now, he did kind of a MySpace picture where he found the perfect little angle to make himself look like a halfway attractive person. And that was the entire reason why I drove an hour and a half to meet this fucker. And when I got there, the guy gave me a big smile, and his teeth were black and rotted, and some of them were kind of like pokey. And I was thoroughly repulsed. But I'd already tripped a long way, and I thought that it would be really mean if I just took one look at the guy and then was like, oh, no, I don't even think so. You know, I have standards. I mean, I'm usually not high up on the chain, but I'm usually about the halfway mark. And usually I try to go for like a 75% if I'm lucky. And no. You're more around like 45%, just under the acceptable line. But he had a lot of liquor. I was like,